This is 4th and Goal on Break the Cast.
Break the Cast. My name is Jeff Blagden, and for the first time in 2016, I am joined in-house by both Andrew Proto Reese and Christian Smith, who spent last week in Mexico for 4th and Goal. Christian, did you find our replacement for Proto?
No, but I still made the show, even with no excuse, being in a different country. Proto, where you at, buddy?
No flaking on Christian's end.
Sorry, I was dying and couldn't speak in week 2.
Man.
The podcast, at least.
I was in Mexico with free booze, free food, and hot weather.
Yeah, sweet.
If
Congrats.
you
I still got the show done. What do you mean?
Good on you.
If you were dying, how are you here right now?
True story.
I died. Shut up. Let's go on.
Uh-huh.
You're
All
lucky
right.
Pierre likes you, buddy.
Yeah, otherwise you'd be gone if it wasn't for Pierre.
Shout out to Pierre, by the way.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Pierre. You made our days with that comment. For the record, the first one that wasn't spam or one of our mothers.
True story.
Wasn't it your mom, Christian, who commented on the one?
My mom's commented a few times.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Her and her boyfriend actually listen every week. They're big football people,
Awesome.
so they look forward to the show
Awesome.
like Pierre does.
Good.
It's funny that like when we look at the stats, there's a lot of people that are listening every week, but nobody ever says anything. So guys, come on. If you disagree with us or anything, or even if you agree with us, except for Proto, because nobody agrees with Proto, but
Pierre did.
Leave a comment.
yeah, just let us know.
Anything you want changed. If you don't want us talking about certain things for so long, whatever you want. If you have ideas for new segments, we're open to anything.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
We'd love to hear from you guys. Anything that makes the show better for you guys. That's why we're doing this. Speaking of, making the show better to pay attention to, man, we got a treat with the divisional games this week.
Absolutely.
There wasn't a game that was played that was a bad game, really.
No, not at all. So we started off with, obviously, KC, New England. New England pulled it out 27-20.
How about that drive at the end by KC? You're down by 14 and there's 6-something left on the clock and you pull 5 minutes off on one drive?
Yeah.
Yeah, that time management was absolutely brutal. And then I think Andy Reid came out after the game saying that they were having troubles with the headsets or something.
Yeah, but come on.
Yeah, I don't want to hear those kind of excuses
I think it
at
was
all.
one of the players was saying, well, the reason we took so long was because we didn't want to give Tom Brady the ball back. So you're just showing fear that you didn't think your defense was going to be able to stop him one more
But
time.
you have to give him the ball back anyway because
That's
you
what I
need to
mean.
score 14 points.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. And their plan was to hopefully score a touchdown and get the onside kick. They weren't even thinking anything else, which is the reason they lost.
And that's terrible coaching decision in my opinion. How can you ever rely on an onside kick?
So
yeah, and that's what I mean.
We maybe see 1 in
But
50 maybe go by.
even if
and
you're
that's being nice.
even if you're looking to get an onside kick, take 3 minutes off the clock and then go for the onside kick. Like, what
Yeah.
difference does
Yeah.
that make?
Exactly.
Especially in
Try
case you
stop
miss it, then at least you still have some time. Stop them, maybe get the ball back deep in your own end. Yeah, it was just bad play calling in my opinion.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
just clock management, everything.
And I think that's maybe not the sole thing that cost them the game, but definitely one of the major things.
Absolutely. What about Gronkowski in this game? Obviously, there was a lot of questions if he was going to be healthy enough and well. He did his thing, as always.
Yeah, and he actually set the record for most touchdowns by a tight end in the playoffs
Oh, really?
already
Wow.
with 8,
that's pretty
and he's
cool.
only 28 years old.
Unbelievable.
This is a record he could honestly just completely shatter.
Oh, and make it his own. Like, for
Like
a long
his own
time,
to keep. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Especially playing in that offense. They love tight ends. Belichick loves tight ends. Brady loves. I mean, any quarterback's going to love to throw to a guy who's 6'8". So
Yeah, and I was going to say, and you have the athleticism of Rob Gronkowski. Absolutely, I don't blame you.
Shout out to Edelman, though. I don't think he gets really enough credit. I mean, when he's out, this offense looks very stagnant. But when he's in there, it's flowing on all cylinders.
Oh, yeah.
And I personally think he doesn't get enough credit.
yeah, he's the unsung hero on that offense.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, today's NFL too. You need a good slot receiver. So to plug someone in. What do they have? Like who plays that slot
Exactly.
position without him, right? So
Amendola.
Exactly, but Amendola is better on the outside, right? So either way, it's a weakness. Whether you're putting Amendola into the slot, then you've got no one on the outside, or reverse, right? But how about LaFell completely disappearing this year?
Yeah, he's fallen off the face of the earth.
Even when Edelman was out, Amendola was out, he did nothing.
He came. It was around the time when he came back from his injury, so people are saying, "Sweet, here's your chance, go be the number one guy." And what his first game, he had like 2 catches.
He's
It was
dropped
wow.
something like 12 passes this year or something.
Yeah.
I was the only one that didn't fall for the trap and pick him up in fantasy.
I never
actually-
picked him up in
I did.
fantasy.
I know you did. That's
I
why
did. I had him
said
for
it
one
and looked
week.
right at you.
I had him for 1 week, and I didn't even start him. I had him on my bench just because, like, hey, if he has a good game. Right after that first game, dropped him. I was just like, this is how it's going to go the rest of the year.
I didn't go for it. I mean, I had decent enough receivers. There was no point in me going for it. But
By the way, I don't know if I've announced this yet, but I won my fantasy.
Both leagues or just one?
I didn't make the playoffs in the one, missed it by one game, but I won the
Yeah.
finals in the one where we picked the
Nice.
defenses and all
Oh,
that.
okay, yeah. For mine, I missed the playoffs by one game right at the end. I was on like a 5-game winning streak, lost the last game by I think 3 points, and then didn't make it.
I lost the semifinal game by 0.04 points.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Ooh, that hurts me.
Yeah.
I would rather lose by like 20
yeah.
than
Yeah,
lose by
then have it be that
0.04.
close. Because then you look at your team and you say, which one of you could have got me those 0.7 points?
Which one of you just cut?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
But other than the Patriots in this game, credit to Kansas City after that huge win streak and everything that they did after a disastrous start to the season.
I mean, you do have to feel for Alex Smith.
Oh, and I feel for that whole team. I think for everyone, in all honesty.
I mean, not having Jeremy Maclin in this game, who is your number one big threat at least. Obviously, in the red zone, you're going to Kelce, but overall, you got to say that's Maclin. And then at the beginning of the year, losing Jamal Charles too. I mean, Alex Smith has had to put up with a lot this season, and he's really answered the call for them.
Do you think if KC, like, let's play the if game kind of thing, if KC was healthy, could they have beaten the Patriots?
It's only a one touchdown game, so you can't say no.
Exactly.
But
But then you can make the argument if the Patriots were also fully healthy,
Yeah,
would they have
exactly.
beaten them by even more?
Exactly.
If both teams are completely healthy, the Patriots are the better team.
Yeah. I don't think there's any denying that. Even, like I said, without the injuries, Patriots still came up by 7 points. So,
Yeah, but I mean, it's the NFL. You never know what could happen.
yeah, with injuries, any of that, exactly.
going into next year, how do you think Jamal Charles is going to bounce back from this injury, being further up there in age this time around?
98% of running backs in the NFL I'm worried about. Jamal Charles I'm not worried
I
about.
was
Jamal
gonna say,
Charles
yeah.
gets hurt for a couple games or something almost every year, but he still comes back and averages over 5 yards per carry every game.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I think maybe a slow start, depending if he comes back preseason, whatnot. But then, like Jeff said, Jamal Charles is Jamal Charles.
a
He'll be
slow
fine.
start for Jamal Charles is still like Arian Foster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 That's, I mean, it'll be a slow start to a Jamal Charles career, but he's going to be fine. I don't
You
think
think
there's anything.
let's say he comes back healthy. He probably plays maximum maybe 4 more years max, right? He's a running back in the NFL. You guys think he keeps that average over 5 yards per carry? Becomes the only player other than Barry Sanders and Jim Brown to retire with a yards per carry average over 5?
I say yes on the sole fact that I don't think he'll play 16 games every season. So it'll keep his averages looking a bit nicer.
I was going to say the same thing. If he doesn't play 16 games a season, which I don't think he will either, I think he can do it. If he somehow manages to stay healthy throughout 16 games plus playoffs, no.
Well, you got to think too. Even if he plays like 13 games a season or something, and he's doing it because he's hurt, is he really going to come back at a level that allows him to keep it that high?
That's true.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, either way, that'd be great company to be in.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Most
Jim Brown and
definitely.
Barry Sanders are unarguably, with whatever order you put them in, 1 and 2 among running backs in NFL history. Some people have Barry ahead, some people have Jim Brown ahead,
Brown, yeah.
but like either way, they're 1 and 2. So where do you think you'd rank Jamal Charles?
That's tough. Like, I don't know. For me, when it comes to any sport, I always look at the game has changed so much from 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. So it's kind of hard to put people.
He's got
in
no
those
titles,
categories. Exactly, and I was going to say that too.
I
Like,
maybe,
you're gonna look
I
at
maybe
titles
put him
he has
top
won.
10.
He's won more playoff games than Barry.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I'd maybe put him top 10. He's not top 5 yet.
yeah. I was going to say.
Yeah.
If he keeps that average by the end of his career, maybe I'll throw him top 5. But I don't know.
He's a safe top 15. Some will argue top 10.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'd have him right around.
Yeah,
maybe between 12 and 8.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, I think solid top 15, arguable top 10.
I'd say top 10. I even have a little bit of, like, when I think of the running backs that have played ahead of him, I find it even hard to throw him in 10. But
See, that's what I mean.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can
12
Everyone's
even.
list is going to be different.
I can
Like,
concede top 10, but I gotta say he's no lower than 4 as a dual threat running back of all time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair,
Like
fair
you got maybe Marshall Faulk, LaDainian Tomlinson, and maybe Roger Craig ahead of him. Beyond that, I can't really find anyone to put ahead of him as a dual threat running back.
I'm trying to think. Yeah,
You just
those
said,
three
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just said Tomlinson. I remember I used
LT
to
was a
love him.
beast.
he had 100 receptions one year
Yeah.
as a running
Beast.
back, and led the league in rushing the same year.
Yeah. Oh, he
That's-
was so good. I have a quick side note. Friend who's a Chargers fan. He used to make me watch Chargers games just for LT, and that's when I really realized who he was and how good he was. And I said, like, holy crap! Like,
Well,
this
LT
guy's
in his
amazing.
prime was a monster.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was
One of my favorite running backs to watch. Being a kid, amazing guy to watch. Same with Falk.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They were both
Those
very good.
St. Louis teams were just fun to watch in general.
oh yeah, with Kurt Warner, Falk, Isaac Bruce,
Isaac Bruce, yeah.
Isaac Bruce,
That's right.
Torrey Holt.
Torrey Holt.
Torrey Holt,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those were very solid teams. Incredible offensive lines too. Orlando Pace anchoring them every year. Mm-hmm. Those were some fun teams. All right, let's move on.
So speaking of fun, we'll get into probably the funnest game of the week. Maybe not for you, but
I had a blast.
Arizona Green Bay. I mean, I love that Hail Mary, and they were talking about it may being one of the best throws ever. At the end of the day, they lost for me, and that's all I'm going to remember is they lost. So I feel it takes a little bit away from the effect of that Hail Mary, but that play at the end of the game, I am not a Packers fan. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, he did it again. No way. Rah! I had just got back from Mexico.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's like, what are you screaming at? She's like, the Cowboys aren't playing. And I was like, I know, but watch this. And she watched it and even said, wow.
How
Yeah,
about that Fitzgerald catch immediately following it?
I
though?
think that was almost as nice, maybe nicer.
I was watching it with a bunch of Packers fans, and everyone's just like, "How do you let him get the ball?"
Yeah, no,
Especially that wide open.
Yeah.
And a guy like Clay Matthews should not have missed that tackle.
It's true. But like, of all the players on the Cardinals, who do you cover in that situation?
Larry Fitzgerald,
Like-
obviously.
and they
but-
just let him open.
Palmer's not getting enough credit on that play.
The rollout was good.
He made that the option for him to be open by rolling out and not taking the sack. That was one of the nicest plays I can remember seeing Palmer make back there.
And speaking of Palmer, like in that game, 349 yards and 3 touchdowns in a playoff game.
Yeah, but
Like,
he also had 2
unbelievable.
red zone interceptions.
But still, you
Th-
know,
those
like,
interceptions kept the Packers in the game.
It kept the Packers in, but when you're putting up those numbers, I still think, and you have a defense like Arizona, if you're giving interceptions in the red zone, even though you can put up points, it's not necessarily like it's not going to be like this is going to kill us when you have that good a team.
I mean, I'm all for giving credit where credit is due, but I mean, if we'd have lost that game,
It would have been Palmer's fault.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jeff Janis, though. This man had 2 receptions last year. 2 receptions. He had 7 for 145 yards
yards and 2
and one of the
touchdowns.
nicest Hail Marys I've seen because he wasn't even really in that play. He was running 4
Yeah.
as opposed to being back to it. He caught it forwards.
he also had Justin Bethel covering him for most of the game.
Fair.
I mean, I came into that game and I was talking to, and I don't want to weigh too much on this because I'm going to get into it again a little later. But I was saying going into the game, Aaron Rodgers isn't even looking for his receivers in this game. He's looking for where number 28 is on the Cardinals, and he's throwing the ball that way. And that's exactly what happened. I'm not going to get entirely into the Bethel thing until later, but
Either way, he was running with Jeff Janis and Abradaris
Yep.
were his 2 top receivers.
yo, is Randall Cobb dead?
He
Like, what?
chest injury. I'm not 100% sure what it was,
Well,
but
even Jones wasn't even like in this game.
because he was dealing with Peterson the
That's
whole
what I
game.
mean. Like,
Yeah, well, whoever Peterson's on is
yeah,
out of
that's
the
what
game.
I mean. He was completely shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jones isn't good enough to deal with those
No.
number 1 DBs. Maybe number 2, 3, but not a number 1.
But this was another game where we go to our usual spot on the podcast where we mention how good Aaron Rodgers is, and like
He didn't have that great of a game.
That's what my point is he wasn't the greatest, but he always does something, it seems, in a game that you have to talk about.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Obviously,
If the
that play was-
the Cardinals' clock management was slightly better, Aaron Rodgers would have cost them
Yeah,
the game.
if they didn't
on that throw
if
on
they didn't
4th
throw
down.
the fade to Fitzgerald on the one play that stopped the clock, I don't even think Rodgers would have had enough time to even get down
Exactly.
there.
And the throw that he made on the drive going into that, where he grounded it like 3 yards in front of James Jones, he would have had that catch. That would have been the first down. That would have kept them alive. They wouldn't even have had to go down to the final seconds with the Hail Mary. Right?
Now, quickly, what about the coin toss in overtime?
Ridiculous.
Should they have redone it?
I mean, the
Oh,
Cardinals.
yeah, for sure. It didn't flip.
I mean, the Cardinals won both times.
Yeah,
So
it didn't change anything.
Yeah.
But if that would have been a major factor, and
And that's
it would
my
have
point.
been,
Yeah.
if they'd have
Controversy.
Wow. reflipped it and the Packers won, we would not hear the end of this. But as it is,
my roommate was telling me, I'm not sure if this is true. Do they take training to flip the coins? Is that part of the referee training?
What?
No, he was honestly telling
I'm
me.
looking this up as we speak.
He was telling me, he's like, they actually get a part of their training for that. There's no way he should not be flipping that coin. And I kind of agree. I mean,
you're flipping a coin. It's not a difficult thing to do. You should be able to make it flip.
that was literally the craziest thing I've ever seen. I tried it even after. And to get a coin to stay flat and land flat is pretty damn hard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean...
I'm just glad it wasn't one of those things that messed up the game, like where, say, Green Bay won the first time and then Arizona won when they reflipped it, or vice versa.
Well, the thing, too, is Green Bay was the ones calling for the retoss. Arizona's guys were already walking away.
Yeah. Then I remember Arizona guys, they're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they flipped it again, and we won again. So, I mean, like I said, I'd be talking about this more right now if it would have been a different team either way, winning the second time, but... We had that. And just another thing I want to throw in with Proto's point, too, about Carson Palmer having a good game. Mm-hmm. You take away the 76 yards to Fitzgerald and the touchdown immediately after that, and you're looking at a guy who threw 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Are you saying the same thing about him having a good game?
To me, it's, he got it done in the end. I think that's all that matters. Obviously,
Fitzgerald got it done in the end.
I was going to say, in the end, Fitzgerald got it done, but it looks better on Carson Palmer.
Even if and I'm not taking credit away, because what Christian said is entirely true of him rolling out of the pocket and being able to make that play happen. But even if he makes that play happen and Fitzgerald doesn't do what Fitzgerald does, that's a 12-yard first down. Yep. That's not a 76-yard play, right?
Agreed. No, 100%.
So quickly, I can't find anything about if there is an official training for coin toss, but they said that according to the rules, the referee did not have to reflip the coin. He did it out of his own judgment.
He didn't have to, because there's no rule saying
but
it.
He did it out of fairness, according to him, which, in all honesty, probably was. And in the end, obviously, it wasn't really a controversial result. Arizona won it again.
I just thank the Lord that it did not change the outcome of the game.
It's all we would be hearing.
Exactly.
Let's say so Arizona won it the first time, and then they flipped it again. Green Bay won it.
And then they score that first drive.
And let's say they win the Super Bowl. That's all you would hear they won it because of the coin toss.
No, I'm just glad it didn't ruin anything like that. And I'm so glad that they called that Hail Mary a catch. I was just sitting there. I was like, the karma from Dez is going to bite them right now, and this is going to be a no catch.
Another thing I want to say towards Palmer, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm ripping on Palmer too much here, but as a Cardinals fan, these things kind of glare out to me more than
and because that
other
Green
people.
Bay defense isn't that strong. He's got to deal with Carolina this week.
Well, that too, but his one touchdown to Floyd, that shouldn't have been a touchdown. That legitimately should have either been picked off or dropped. Like the one that bounced off of John Brown's hands and into Michael Floyd's hands.
Yep.
Let's face it, that was not Palmer in any way.
So someone who watched the game, Jeff, would you say that do you think it was nerves? What do you think it was then with Palmer not having?
Well, it was his first playoff win, so
they didn't have the most Bruce Arians-like play calling. Mm-hmm. They ran the ball something like 20 times or something, and like most of that was to David Johnson, who averaged about 2.2 yards per carry.
15 carries, 35 yards.
Yeah. And then every time Ellington touched the ball, he lost yards.
Yeah, he averaged 1 yard on 3 carries.
Yeah, and the running game wasn't there, and every time they would go to the pass, they were throwing a lot of short corners in that. That's not the Cardinals' game. Mm-hmm. The Cardinals' game is those deep shots and picking up those short yardage plays, running the ball or on screen passes. I saw one screen pass that game. One screen pass, and it worked, and it got them like 13 yards, and they never went back to it. Sorry, one screen pass to David Johnson. There was one to Ellington where he lost 3 yards. But it's just, I don't know. I think the play calling was a little off. Palmer was a little off. He was overthrowing a lot of guys. He wasn't as accurate as he usually is. And the receivers were dropping passes too. Michael Floyd, again, Michael Floyd is like, he's a love-hate receiver with Cardinals fans because he drops the most mundane passes, but then he makes amazing catches.
Yeah.
And
It's almost like balancing itself out.
that touchdown in the corner at the back of the end zone, that was a
Gross.
great catch,
Yep.
followed up him ending the previous drive by dropping an easy slant over the middle.
Some guys are like that. They like those high-pressure situations, and they just drop the ball on the easiest situations they get handed to them.
Stevie Johnson.
But
Overall, all I'm saying is the stats can lie, and Palmer did not have a good game.
Agreed.
And Palmer came out afterwards to the press, too, and said he needs to do better, and he didn't have a good game, right? So
what's his overall record? Because that was his first win in the playoffs.
well, technically 1-2, but the first game he played in the playoffs, he threw one pass, and he got the
injury.
ACL
Yeah,
tear,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, I mean, actually, no, I don't even think he threw a pass. I think he dropped back and got hit.
Yeah, that was like one of the first plays they had on the offense.
He's like 0 for 0 for 0 yards, 0 touchdowns, and a fumble, I think, for that season. It was – I'm not – I mean, it obviously counts because he got the start.
No, yeah,
That's the way
so
the
he's
NFL
1-1
works.
then.
But in games he's
If
actually
you want to go
played –
He's 1-1.
technical, he's
Okay.
1-1.
in games he's actually played, he's 1-1, and the one loss was to New England.
Yeah, fair enough. Just they were making such a big deal about it, like he's played 20 playoff games and he just got his first win. So I thought those numbers were a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's just the way they were talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's – I mean, he's played in the league for a long time, obviously.
No, I know that, yeah.
Although the great thing is he was only drafted 2 years before Rodgers, and everyone's talking about how old Palmer is. But
Holy. Yeah, that's weird to think when you put it like that.
So one question I got for you guys for next year. Eddie Lacy,
he needs to lose weight.
do you think he's going to be the number one back going into the season or do you think he's going to come in overweight? And
I think if he gets into shape, he's number one. Like, that's an
No
easy
doubt.
pick for number
Yeah,
one if he gets into
easily.
shape. If he doesn't, I don't even know if he's on the team. If he doesn't focus and doesn't try to put the effort in to get back into shape, I don't see McCarthy putting up with him again.
Yeah, stole the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say the same thing. If he comes in the way he did this season, no chance.
because I'm so torn right now. I have him in the one league. It's a keeper league. I don't know if I should keep him or Ivory.
Trade him.
Yeah.
I would try to trade him.
I can't trade right now though.
Oh, you can't do off-season trade?
Not till it's like around the
Closer to
time
the
to
season?
draft and whatnot.
Oh.
Because I have Ivory and Lacey, and I'm very torn who I should keep.
I'd keep Ivory, to be honest.
That's who I have it set as right now.
Even if Eddie Lacy comes in as the starting back, it's going to be a few weeks before he takes over primary carries because they're going to be equaling it out
Yeah.
between him and
Starks.
Starks for
I just
a while.
feel that if Nelson's going to be coming back next year, Cobb,
Jordy.
Lacey could maybe get some more touches because they'll actually have a lot of leads again.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I'm
true.
just so torn about it.
It's true, but I think you're going to see
think
you're going to see like a 66-33 split between Starks and Eddie Lacy at best, whereas in with Ivory,
It's just him.
Yeah.
Yeah, true enough.
And that's what I was going to say too. It's obviously way too early to tell, but I understand your dilemma because you already want to know.
Well, I'm
kinda
just
something
thinking
like
about,
that.
you know what I mean?
Of course,
it's money,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah, no, of course.
although too like trading him now at like
He
a
has
low
no value.
point, like
No
Yeah.
you
value.
might as well wait until like at least
Try to get a value
at least
out
the
of it.
preseason and see how he comes into camp as, right?
That's basically like in mine. Everyone knows my hate with Eddie Lacy this year in fantasy, and that's what I did. I kind of went. It was like right after he had one good game, and it looked like he was going to come back. That's when I was just like, trade him, got a couple good receivers, and called it a day with him. That was it.
I mean, that's fair. Either way is fair to handle it, but like
But speaking of guys from fantasy, moving into the Seattle Carolina game, Doug Baldwin is a guy I think if you don't have or you're looking next year, a guy you got to pick up. For sure.
I'm worried about him being a one-season wonder, though. He hasn't done anything else prior to his career, prior to the last 7 games of this season, to make me think that he
But
is
last
that
year
guy.
he did this a couple times where near the end where he was needed, he came in and showed up.
I like Curse a lot. He makes very big catches.
Yeah, and he was a guy who obviously showed up in this game, 11 catches, 2 touchdowns, 110 yards.
Curse is a guy I'd like on my team.
Not as your
as
number
an
one, though.
NFL
As-
team,
yeah,
yeah.
right?
Not as
But
a
as a
number one.
fantasy team, I don't know if I really want Curse, right?
Yeah, away from the fantasy football to the real game. Obviously, Panthers winning 31-24. Seattle rallied late, but were unable to come back.
I am so happy. that turned out the way it
I
did.
know, yeah, you
I would
really
much,
wanted Carolina
I would
to win
much
this.
rather play a team that just gave up 24 points in the second half and scored 0 than a team that came back from 31 points down, especially when that team is Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a drubbing at the first half. I almost turned it off, but I had
I
that
did.
little feeling in me that Seahawks would make it interesting because they
It's
love
the
doing
Seahawks.
that. Exactly.
It's Russell Wilson. It's what he does.
I was checking my phone and they were saying like, who's the last team to come back from 31 down? And then
Your
that's when I
Bills.
turned it back on. I was like, don't break the record. Don't break the record. I was like, please don't do it.
They just ran out of time, really.
Yeah, they did.
Really, they would have come back.
Oh, I know they would.
As much as a manhandling as it was for Carolina in the first half, it was equally, if not more, of one for Seattle in the second half. Cam Newton couldn't make anything happen.
To be fair,
the
they
second
didn't
half.
throw it all, though.
He only threw the ball 22 times.
Yeah, and he finished 16 for 22.
Which
and
decent
all that
numbers,
was
yeah.
basically in the first half.
Yeah, he did it all in the first, and then it was kind of like go out there and just give the ball.
And that's
to
what
him.
I felt. I felt they should have taken maybe one shot in that second half
Try to
just
go
to
up,
score
yeah.
again and to end the momentum swing.
Yeah.
But they were just kept running and trying to end
that's
the
what I
time,
mean,
which at the end of the day they won for it, but
Yeah.
it was too close for my comfort at the end there.
and that's what I was gonna say was that exactly like they kind of let Cam sit back, kind of like let the defense handle it. Let's let them do it. They're already thinking next game, like offense, get ready for next game against at
Arizona.
the time, Arizona.
Now this, and I mean, I know I'm a fan of Arizona and Carolina's, the guys we're preparing for next week. But I got to throw it up to Tommy Davis, who has been in the league for so long and has been with Carolina alone for so long and has been such an impactful player, never gets recognized, never gets the notice he deserves. He's the reason they won that game. Let's be honest. That onside kick was a perfect onside kick that Seattle kicked. Absolutely perfect. And Tommy Davis Jr., our senior, jumping up and making that play like he's a wide
great
receiver.
catch.
Like he kept them in that game. There's a reason he is the main captain on that team, and he deserves to get more credit than he does.
Yeah.
Agreed. Because a lot of it goes to Kuechly, right? Because the big name, and I think Davis' name's right up there with him. He comes in every year, plays his heart out, and it's the
Well, I
reason
was gonna
this
say, he's
defense has
doing
been so
something-
good the last
he's been
couple
doing
years.
something right to be with Carolina all these years, obviously.
But he never gets talked about though.
Never.
That's the thing, and he should. He deserves it more. As good as Kuechly is, Tommy Davis Jr., our senior, he's been a mainstay on that defense, and they run a lot of plays based on what he can do, both rushing the passer and stopping the run.
Now, after this game, obviously, Marshawn Lynch only ran the ball. Only ran the ball 6 times. Obviously,
He's also
they were
coming
down.
back off of injury.
Yeah, coming back from injury
and
and
down
they were
31.
down. Now, my question is: we've mentioned this before.
Retirement.
You think it's retirement for Lynch, Jeff?
I don't think he's gonna. The type of guy Lynch is, I don't think he's gonna want to retire
Me
on
neither.
that note. I don't think he plays another game for Seattle.
Yeah, because if they keep him, they're going to want him to take a pay cut, and I don't think he's going to do that.
I think he'll go.
That's
up
why I
to
think
another
it's
team.
either going to be retirement or they just pay him.
I think he still plays.
I just
I
can't
think
see
it's
him
up
on
there.
any other team right now.
I know it's weird to think of him
I'll go to Cleveland to die.
Because as much as
take his money and run.
he's a great player, he does have those issues with the media, and some people just don't like taking that risk for big money, especially on an older running back.
Hey, like you said, Jeff, Cleveland, they love controversy over there apparently.
Oakland.
So.
Ooh. Yeah, but they have...
Don't they have Latavius Murray?
Yeah, Latavius Murray, so young.
I wouldn't do that.
Had over 1,000 yards rushing,
Well,
too.
there was a couple years ago where they thought he was going to go to Oakland. and
I know Al
it didn't
Davis
happen.
isn't there anymore, but remember one guy was a great running back. He was young at the time. He was just coming off his MVP by the name of Marcus Allen, who they tried to push out as well. It's kind of the Oakland thing to do.
Yeah. I hope that they learn from their mistakes with that. Like,
Well,
I
Al
would not, I
Davis
would
is
not
gone
give up
now
on,
too, right?
Exactly.
A
So
lot
I
of-
wouldn't give up on Latavius Murray.
lot of-
Oakland, I'm scared of in the next 3 years.
They're a very young
Carr,
team and they
Cooper,
are good.
Mack, Murray, dangerous.
Oh yeah, they have a nice setup there in Oakland. I think me and Jeff we all touched on that actually at the end of the season show.
Yeah, when I was doing the numbers last night, We all picked, I think it was our midway show preview, we all picked Oakland to make the playoffs and finish 10-6, all three of us
Really?
actually.
That's what I'm worried about with them, though. They really faltered at the end of the year,
Mm-hmm.
the second half of the season, right? And if you're looking at a team that needs to be a playoff caliber team or is supposed to be getting better, that's when you need to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
but you got to give it to a lot of young guys too. That's something they're going to learn, that they're going to pick up as they go on. Maybe bring in, obviously now they lost Woodson to retirement, but maybe you bring in another veteran guy to kind of keep those guys calm in those situations, and I think they'll be fine.
Tillman.
Tillman, yeah, that's not a bad one.
They need one of those guys on offense too, I think.
Yeah, that's what I mean. An offensive guy and a defensive guy to kind of keep the
They need-
pressure down. And
They need a tight end or a slot receiver in today's NFL.
yeah,
If you want to be effective offensively, especially when you're going with a guy like Derek Carr, whose biggest asset is his strong arm, right? The guy's got a cannon for an arm, but all those guys that have cannons for arms, they only do good once you pull in that slot receiver to help them out.
oh yeah, because then you could just dump it off to them, or
It's a
even hit
safety
them with
blanket.
a deep thing. Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's what I mean. They're already doing good with what they have. Imagine adding a guy like that to Oakland. Oh man, they'd be awesome to watch. In all honesty.
Guys like Norman, Von Miller, they're unrestricted free agents coming up.
I don't think Norman gets out of.
I don't think so either. I'm just saying.
Von Miller possibly, but Norman. I don't think so.
Wilkerson's coming up as
the
a free
biggest
agent
the biggest
too.
deal with Von Miller is the money for Denver. Like they have so many players already. They're gonna have to pick and choose who they want to keep and who they don't.
And that's the
And,
thing.
you
If
know-
they win this year, you could see them maybe.
And that's what I was about to say. The further they go, the more money these guys are going to want. And obviously, we know now they are going
And-
further down.
And you mentioned Wilkerson. I think there's a very solid chance he gets traded this year anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he clearly has checked out for the Jets,
Mm-hmm.
and they clearly are already building for his replacement. They've got 4 solid defensive ends on that team. They can afford to lose one, even if it's a guy as big of a name as Wilkerson, right?
Yeah, for sure. And but like I was saying, Denver, obviously, they're moving on 23-16 victory over the Steelers this past weekend. What do you guys take away from this game?
If Pittsburgh was healthy, they would have drubbed them.
Yeah.
That's what I take away from it.
Do you think Big Ben was healthy,
Nope. And he played better than Peyton, I think.
Jeff?
I mean, he threw a couple deep bombs that made me believe that he was at least healthy enough to play. I mean, obviously, he's not going to be completely healthy. He left the game with a dislocated shoulder last week. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to be completely healthy after 1 week, but I think he was healthy enough to play. And, yeah, I think he outplayed Peyton, but really, who hasn't outplayed Peyton this year?
True.
But
I mean, the guy
Denver-
finished the season with 9 touchdowns and 17 interceptions.
Side note, Big Ben, the only QB to throw for over 300 yards on this defense, he did it twice.
Yep.
They also throw the ball 99% of the time. So,
Well, especially when you got D'Angelo was out, and obviously Bell.
Daniel
Yeah.
Bell.
You don't really have another option to do anything on that team. but
Yeah,
throw the
Toussaint
ball.
lost him the game.
Fitzgerald.
That fumble
Toussaint.
lost
Oh,
him
right.
the game.
Yeah, but I mean, he was never expected to be in a position where he'd be carrying the ball in the playoffs anyway, right? So,
But I was going to say Pittsburgh going into next year, if they could keep this core guys and be healthy, watch out for them again. Like, no question.
if they can keep Bell, Brown, and Ben healthy,
That's my favorite offense to watch when
oh,
it's
like
fully
they're
healthy.
just weapons. Like,
Well, I
Big
mean,
Ben just
even-
looks anywhere and he has somebody who's going to catch the ball. Like,
even though I'm a little biased, even if I wasn't, I'd still say the Cardinals are my favorite to watch just because of how many deep shots they take. But, yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh's up there.
yeah. Oh yeah.
When you have a big 3 like that with Ben, Bell, and
But,
Brown.
And even Bryant.
And that's
He
who I
came to
was going to
play.
touch. Martavis Bryant, yeah, was 9 catches, 154 yards.
And he had the big end around for 40 yards.
Yep.
He had a solid game.
Oh, he solid. I think he was phenomenal. Just obviously no touchdowns.
And even dealing with the number 1 DBs on Denver, still having that big of a game.
And that's what I mean, yeah. And that's what I mean. I think Big Ben doesn't get enough credit for obviously the receivers deserve the credit, but he gets the best and puts the ball right to where they're going to beat whoever it is. Doesn't matter.
And I find they have very creative play calling where they get a lot of switches
Yep.
in coverage. And I feel that opens up the receivers a lot. I just, like I said, I love watching their offense. It's one of my favorite to watch.
Yeah, for sure. But other than that, obviously the winning team, who we've barely touched on, the Broncos.
Because there's not much to talk
Yeah,
about.
the-
It's the same thing we've said
the
all year with them.
defense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
like,
Peyton had a semi-decent game, and their running was
and that's what I
okay.
mean, and that's all they've needed this year to get by. is have the defense play their game and just have Peyton be decent.
The Broncos are such a boring team to talk about. Every time we've touched on them this year, we've said the same thing. Solid defense, questions on offense, don't know if their offense is enough. It's the same thing every year. Those are our point form notes for the Broncos.
Literally.
Every week after week. So what else are we going to say about them?
So then that leaves us with nothing else but to move into next week. Or this weekend, I should say.
So we'll start off with round 17. Mr. Peyton Manning
versus
against Tom Brady.
Before we do,
in Denver.
Do you guys like the what did you guys think of the advertisements and whatnot in the newspapers with Brady's head on a baby's body crying after everyone calling him
Everybody does this with Brady week after week. Of course, I'm tired of it. I don't care anymore. Yeah. Like, Tom Brady is arguably, in my mind, he's the best quarterback in NFL history, but he's you can't put him any lower than 3.
Yeah. Like, I hate him, but he's clearly top 3.
I hate him too, but there's no way I'm saying he's not number 1. Like, coming into last season, I had him tied with Montana for number 1, and then now he won the Super Bowl last year. So regardless to whatever you say about cheating, whatever, you know what? He still won.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he won. If you guys lost because he cheated and he found a way to pull it off, then whatever.
Yep.
That's your problem.
Oh, no, I agree 100%. And he's out there every year. This man's 38 right now, and they could easily win again.
Every time that they come out saying he cheated on something too, that rule comes in the next year. Like, it's like, it may be something that's, frowned upon or isn't, a great thing, but it's not illegal until the year after he does it.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I can't really put too much on everyone saying that he's a cheater or whatever, and it's really getting tiring to see. Every time you go on Facebook, every time there's an NFL post, even if it's not about Brady, it's, oh, Brady cheated. Patriots suck. I hate Tom Brady. Nobody cares, all right? It's over. Get over it.
One interesting thing I took out of this is their playoff record against each other. They're 2-2.
Yeah.
But 11-5 overall. Crazy. You never thought. I always thought Peyton lost to Brady.
No, they were saying
really,
and playoff, and they were saying even in the playoffs when they've gone head to head, Peyton's been the better quarterback. Like, obviously years have passed, but still, like they said, when they go head to head, Peyton has always.
But you know what? The one game where he isn't the better quarterback in is that last one at the end of each year.
Yep.
Exactly.
And that's what
so
matters.
I'm assuming
and that's why Brady is the best.
So I'm assuming your pick, Jeff, is the Patriots?
See, we're talking about Brady and Manning, but that's not the biggest point in this game. It isn't Brady and Manning. It's Denver's defense, and it's the Patriots' defense, right? The Patriots' defense has not looked good, right? And yeah, they're going against a stagnant offense, but you know what? If their defense can hold the Broncos' defense can hold that amazing Patriots offense, then the Broncos really do have a shot at this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tight all the way through.
And that was my point, was the Broncos play a lot of zone defense, and that's what the Patriots thrive off. But that line for the Broncos is just, they're going to bring everything at Brady all game.
The one thing I worry about on that Broncos defense is, who do you put on Gronk? I know it's almost impossible to hold Gronk no matter who you have on him, even if you have the perfect matchup. But really, who on that defense do you line up against Gronk?
Yeah.
All of their best outside linebackers are pass rushing linebackers, right? They're not coverage guys. Von Miller is not a very good coverage guy. DeMarcus Ware is not a very good coverage guy, right? And they only really have 2 solid corners, right?
So who are you guys taking? This is a really tough game to call.
I want to see the Patriots, and everything tells me to say the Patriots.
Exactly.
Just for some stupid reason, I think Denver's going to win.
I was going to say, I have a very weird
I feel exactly the same way.
I just have a stupid feeling
I'm
Denver's
on the
gonna
exact
win.
same boat with you guys. That, like, I was watching it last night, this morning, night before, and I just had this weird gut feeling where I'm like, Denver can do this.
I feel
I'm
like
going Denver 27-24.
Yep.
McManus kicks a nice 50-yarder to win with that altitude, and that's the difference.
Yeah, I'm taking Broncos.
My brain says Patriots. My heart says I want both of them to lose. My gut says Broncos, and they always say to go with your gut. So I'm gonna say Broncos too, but
So
I think it's
I'm
really
kind of
tight.
surprised.
Yeah, like
We have a clean sweep here that we're all picking Denver over the Patriots.
I
Something
mean-
I don't think we would ever really say. But
See, my whole thing is with this game, I think no matter who gets through, I think they lose to whoever wins in the NFC.
the NFC's win.
And that's my opinion.
So obviously, talking
let's
about
get
the
into
NFC,
that.
Cardinals Panthers.
I called it a couple weeks ago.
This is gonna
Game
be,
of the year.
This is going to be an amazing game. I was saying all through the year, I wish there was a slot on their schedule where these two both played healthy, because this is the game. This is what determines the best team in the NFC. Let's face it. The Panthers had a weaker schedule, especially down the stretch. Right? Yes, they have a better record than Arizona, but if you look at their stats, where they like rank on splits, they're dead center. Like they're almost the same. The Cardinals are slightly better in yardage situations. The Panthers average like 0.6 more points. The Cardinals are slightly better with scoring defense. The Panthers are slightly better with passing defense.
Total
Like,
yards a game. Arizona's at 408. Panthers 366. Passing yards a game. 288 to Arizona, 224. And then rushing 119 Arizona, 142 to the Panthers. So that shows you how close
And
they
look
really
at the scoring
are.
numbers, though. It's like 30.6 for Arizona and like 31.2 for Carolina. Like they're number 1 and 2. Like they're the two best teams in the NFL.
And that's what I was going to say, but I'm going to give you my pick right now. I'm sticking with what I said at the beginning of the playoffs, Arizona to the Super Bowl. I have them winning the Super Bowl, I said, since the playoffs started. So obviously I'm going to stick with the Cardinals in this one.
I've said it a couple times. You get those feelings where it's just someone's year and they're just meant to win it all. I think that's Carolina right now. And
So you think they're riding the wave of momentum?
of Cam Newton. Yep.
My intelligence as a football fan wants me to say that this is going to come down to the deeper team, which I believe
Is Arizona.
wholeheartedly
Yeah.
is Arizona. But at the same time, I'm just
worried
worried
about Palmer from
I'm
last
worried.
week.
I'm not. I'm worried about Palmer. I'm worried about Bethel. I'm worried. Like there's holes, and Carolina can exploit those.
And they're
My
at home.
biggest issue here is when Carolina throws the ball, they throw deep, right? And Bethel and Powers cannot keep up with fast receivers.
And Ginn is.
Well,
quick.
Ginn will have Peterson on him. Peterson can keep up with him. Regardless,
You don't think they'll play Peterson a bit on Olsen or double him a little bit?
no, because I think they'll have either Buchanan or Rashad Johnson on him because they're bigger, right? And they can both play coverage. Like safeties, we're set. If we need safety coverage, we're good. We got Jefferson, we got Rashad Johnson. It's our second corner that is a problem. Powers is not fast. Bethel is faster, but he sucks in coverage, right? So
Powers and Bethel are more than likely dealing with either Cautry or Funchess.
now Cautry I'm not as worried about. Cautry isn't a very fast receiver anymore, and in all likelihood he's going to have Powers on him. But Funchess is faster than Bethel, a lot faster than Bethel. If he can pull in catches, then that could destroy the Cardinals. I just, it's tough. It is a very hard game to pick. Everything in my body wants me to say Cardinals. I'm going to say Cardinals, but I'm not surprised either way. I can see, this is the big thing. I think if the Cardinals win, it's a tight game. I think if the Panthers win, it's a blowout.
Kind of like they did with Seattle.
Yeah, much worse. Much worse.
Well, they start that way, but the second half isn't similar.
I think if the Cardinals win, we're looking at like a 27-24 game.
Yep.
I think if the Panthers win, we're looking at like a 38-6 game. Like I think the only way the Panthers win this game is if they grab the momentum early, they hold that momentum and they carry it through, which they are very capable of doing, right? So,
Especially in Carolina.
I don't think that matters so much. It doesn't matter as much as it does in the AFC with Denver because
So the last 3 games they played, January 3rd, 2015,
that was the playoff game.
27-16 Carolina.
With-
October 6th, 2013, 22-6 Arizona. And 2011, September 11th actually, 28-21 Arizona.
You can't put a whole lot on that 2015 game, though, either. I mean, we had Ryan Lindley starting at quarterback. There's a lot of differences on our defense. So I'm not putting too much weight on that game. And obviously, Carolina is a much better team as well.
And then
And
the
that's what I was gonna
rankings for
say.
offense, obviously Arizona's first. Carolina's only 11th. Defense, they're 5 and 6. Passing, Arizona's second. Panthers are only 24th, but then rushing, Carolina's 2nd and Arizona's 8th.
And look at the. Do you have the scoring up? They're 1-2. They're 1-2 in the league in scoring. I'm not sure the exact numbers. I know Arizona's 30.6. I'm not 100% sure what Carolina is.
Just everyone watch this game. Like, this is gonna be so.
Yeah,
good.
no, this is my Super Bowl.
How about that 6:40 start time though?
I know.
6:40.
What is that? Again,
by
I
the time
threw.
they actually kick off, it'll be
7 o'clock.
I threw the guys.
I would say less 7.
I threw the
Over
guys
under.
that do the scheduling in the NFL into my doghouse one week. This is again like, what are you guys doing? 6:40.
But guys, after this game, it's the big one. Sunday, January 31st.
The Pro Bowl?
The Pro Bowl. You read my mind.
Man,
No, but for
The
real,
dumbest
obviously.
all-star game in sports.
So, as it stands right now, I have a Denver Cardinals Super Bowl. You have a Carolina Denver Super Bowl, and Jeff, you have a Arizona Denver
Yep.
Super Bowl. I'm just surprised none of us picked the Patriots. We all have that weird gut feeling that
I had the
Denver is gonna
Patriots
win.
throughout the year going in, but for some reason, like at the beginning of the year, I said the Patriots for
Now,
the AFC.
let me-
I still say the Patriots for the.
Well, no,
AFC.
you said Baltimore.
Well, yeah, but last week and every time we've picked the playoffs, I said
Yeah, you
New
said
England. I've
Patriots,
said
yeah.
New England is winning the Super Bowl. Not only in the AFC, I've said they're winning the Super Bowl. But this week, for some reason, is just.
Now, quick question: big if, Denver wins Super Bowl, does Peyton Manning retire?
No, he comes back to break that record next year. He plays one game and then sits on the bench the rest of the year collecting $1 million.
Just retires.
After the one game,
I just can't see him going down with a tied record.
Yeah, no.
He just seems like that guy that would.
In all
Come and
honesty,
break
I would
it.
be that guy too, where I'd be like, just
You're-
please let me win a game.
You need
like-
one win. You can go and join the the Browns, and probably get one win.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might take you a little bit, but you're gonna get that win.
I think the biggest thing, I do think he's coming back regardless, obviously for the same reason. I don't think he's going to retire tied. If they win, he's back as a Bronco. If they lose, he's got to go somewhere else.
Yep, agreed.
So then you think it's Osweiler's team? If
He's a
they
free
lose?
agent. Who knows?
That's true.
I think it's Osweiler's team regardless. I think they're re-signing Osweiler.
Because he's unrestricted.
Fair.
Yeah,
There's a
it's-
lot of guys on that Broncos team. There's Von Miller,
Miller.
Trevathan, and Osweiler, like
So
we said.
so they could be seeing a little bit of a shakeup, obviously.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. If they win, they could easily change a lot of things there.
Yep.
Save some money, maybe look in a different direction.
Absolutely.
Should be interesting.
Yep.
Best time of the year.
Man. 2 weeks, though. 2 weeks.
2 weeks till we know who the champions are.
Hopefully Arizona.
Yeah. As long as it's Arizona or Carolina, I'm happy.
I don't know. As long as it's not New England.
Well, we know you think that.
For me, as long as it's not New England, I don't care if I pick the Cardinals. If Carolina or Denver win, I won't be mad at all. As long as it's not New England.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I can't handle Brady getting another one.
I'm entirely indifferent to whether the Patriots win or not. I just want the Cardinals to win.
Of course.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's great for you. You actually got your team here.
I've waited so long for this, guys.
Listen, at least you've seen your team in the playoffs a couple times.
Yeah, that's true.
1999.
You've seen them lose 4 Super. Oh no, you haven't.
No, I'm not that old. But the last time they made the playoffs was 99. I was 4 turning 5. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
And I mean this in a serious question.
Okay, well, I had to watch Romo
I was gonna say Dallas'
fumble
last time.
an extra point
Guys,
hold.
Yeah.
I had to watch Ryan Lindley. I can't talk today. I had to
That's
watch
a solid excuse for losing, though.
I
That
had
quarterback was
yeah,
trash.
but I
you
had
ever
to
watch
watch him.
JP
I had to
Losman?
watch him throw 236 straight passes before throwing a touchdown.
I had to watch Tony Romo fumble an extra point hold to lose a playoff game.
He almost got in.
I had to
I
watch.
know.
I had to watch JP Losman.
That play entirely sums up Romo's career for me. He almost got in.
Yeah, 100%.
He fumbles it, almost makes up for it, but he stops just.
And then
short.
with the best TO, I'm going to call it a promo after.
Oh, that's my quarterback.
Yeah.
Smart team.
The
It's true. It
best.
was like a wrestling promo. Like he was there
100%.
with the shades
Yeah,
crying.
100%.
That's my tag team partner.
And then he licked him off next month, next season.
Heel turn by Terrell Owens.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys.
Oh man.
So into, for the first time with all of us in the room for 2016, your favorite segment and ours, the 4th and Goal Doghouse. Let's
I'm
start
going
with Proto.
first. I don't really have a doghouse in all honesty. No, but I do. Like, they're not really anything that I'm kind of going to sit there and, like, be mad about this next week. Because
Bills.
I'm going to get over it. No, it's not the Bills at all.
Again.
I'm going to have to give it to the poor clock management from KC. Easy one. That's it.
Way to take mine
That's
right
really
from
the
under me
only
there,
thing I'm
bud.
mad at. The only other thing I'm mad at this week is Chip Kelly getting a job in San Fran. Sure, he might fit in, but I just feel like they may have rushed into Chip Kelly because I feel like he's going to want to be a dictator again there.
Well, who would you have grabbed instead, coaching-wise?
A college coach, someone.
Proto, did you want to read your
Chip
notes
Kelly
for
is
your
a college
doghouse?
coach.
Do I want to read my notes for my doghouse?
You want to
Yeah, I
read?
am.
No. You want to
All
read
right
your
up
notes
here.
for your doghouse right off of Christian's screen?
Oh, yeah,
Is that you
sure.
wanna-
Give me 1 sec. Let me look at his last.
No, but I mean, Chip Kelly's basically is a college coach.
Okay, a better college
Basically.
coach. A better college coach.
Is there really a better college coach? Maybe Nick Saban.
I was going to say Nick.
Beyond that, who's a better college coach
Do you
than
think
Chip Kelly?
do you think we're going to see Nick Saban anytime soon? in the
God
NFL?
no.
No.
God no. You know how much money he makes in Alabama?
Yeah,
There's no chance. That'd be like my Coach K coming to the NBA. It's not gonna
Yeah, it
happen.
doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
College coaches make so much money.
My doghouse, since you stole mine, is going to be the referee. I mean, you got one. Well, you don't got one job, but you got one job for before games or before overtimes. You just got to flip a coin, buddy. All you got to do is
I was like-
flip the coin.
In all honesty, I was like, what did the referees do wrong? And right when you said coin, I was like, oh, okay.
I thought it hit the microphone at first.
I know it's like a 1 in a million type thing to not flip it properly, but I mean, step your game up, ref.
This is
Hey,
the
at least you
playoffs.
did
You're
it
supposed to be
again.
the best
Yeah,
of the best of the
exactly.
flippers here.
It's the playoffs. This isn't the Lions.
This is the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I know it's a relatively weak doghouse, but
It's
wasn't
a
much-
short year.
There
Week.
wasn't much this
Manziel
week,
could
too.
be in it again just for being an idiot.
Just for being
But
Manziel.
Johnny Manziel is the doghouse.
So who's our doghouse MVP going to be? Is it going to be Manziel or
Johnny
Cooper?
Manziel. No,
Manziel or
yours-
Cooper?
No.
Yours could be Cooper. Mine's
No,
Manziel.
Manziel beat Cooper for
Yeah,
the sole
absolutely.
fact that
Absolutely.
he's not playing for being an idiot. Cooper's playing. Maybe
No, he's not.
doing stupid things.
Cooper hasn't been in a game since week 10. So
Perfect.
that's why he's not the MVP.
At least Cooper didn't go
He
out
got
to a
benched.
club with a fake mustache and a wig and sat in a booth.
Oh man.
you never
See,
know
we
that.
didn't even get to record for me to rip into him for that.
Because nobody knows who Jonathan Cooper is.
I didn't believe it was a possibility. Yeah, if Jonathan Cooper walked into a bar wearing a sounds like the start of
Wearing
a
a
crappy joke.
Wearing a Jonathan Cooper jersey,
think he's a
people
fan.
wouldn't know he's
Yeah.
Jonathan Cooper.
If he walked in wearing a mustache and glasses, people would just be like, "This guy's an idiot. Let
The
him in."
guy,
Though.
the guy would be like, "Congrats, you're the first and only person to own a Jonathan Cooper jersey."
Did you get that custom made?
No, okay, since we're on this, Manziel, you're an idiot. I hate you. I dislike you. You have all the tools given to you by whoever to be a successful football player, and you just keep pissing it away. I can't stand it. You're going into bars. Wait till the offseason. You're so damn close to the offseason. I can't stand it. I don't even think you deserve to be in the NFL. I hope each of these teams take a stand and make him take a year off to find himself and prove that he's a better person
Yeah.
and football player.
No, I agree completely.
In
like,
Dallas.
you know,
I don't even care. I know we're going to end up doing it because we love taking on problem children, but I really hope they make him earn everything
I
that's
don't,
given to
I
him.
don't want him to ever be handed. I don't think any athlete in general should be handed anything at all to them.
Agreed.
And
Aside from millions of dollars.
Yeah.
well,
He
when
honestly,
you're-
he
when
gets
you're
my
worth
blood
it in a
boiling.
sports term. No, me
beyond
me too.
belief.
Like just his picture, his face, everything makes me cringe. Like,
Yeah.
because to me, it's like you have had everything given to you. You've had the help that you wanted, and you've thrown it away like 110 times. It's
Yeah, I heard Nike might be dropping him.
Good. I hope they
they're
do.
looking into
I hope they
potentially
do.
dropping
That'd be a
him.
mistake for Nike. He's a moneymaker regardless.
Agreed.
I don't care. I hope they do.
All right. My doghouse. I told you earlier I was going to talk about him a little bit more. Justin Bethel. Man. And I mean, it's the whole. It's not Justin Bethel himself. It's the Justin Bethel situation. He shouldn't be playing outside corner. Put Powers on the outside and put Bethel inside. I don't care. But he should not be playing the outside wide receivers. And, I mean, I said going into it, Rodgers is going to look for 28 and he's going to throw towards 28 every time because he sucks and he is not a good DB. Justin Bethel was great at what Justin Bethel is. He's a terrific gunner. He's a good hard-hitting tackler. Great special teamer. Not a good DB. He should not be playing corner. And that is our weakness every time. And you talked about Jeff Janis and how he came out. Jeff Janis didn't come out. Justin Bethel failed. That's what that was. Like, it was disgusting. And I watched it with a couple of Packers fans, and like I said, you can go talk to them. Talk to Stephen Gomes. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that does our basketball podcast with us.
Good old basketball.
Talk to him and ask him my reactions every time it was Bethel, Bethel, and
it's like you were in week 8 yelling at Cooper again.
I got
That's exactly
so
like what replayed in my mind that whole time.
So angry because every time it was Bethel, and I'm like, man, make an adjustment, do something. You are an NFL player. You saw it on the last play. Jeff Janis had to be double teamed with Patrick Peterson because Bethel was so bad. Like.
Yeah, when you're saying Jeff Janis is getting double teamed, it's a weird thing.
Yeah, and the only reason he was getting double teamed is because Bethel was so bad. Bethel, you're in my doghouse. You wear a C on your jersey. You should have been disgraced enough to just rip that off.
And Bethel, this is the week that you try to get the heck out of the doghouse.
Please, if you do anything, just get out of my doghouse this week, please. I would love nothing more than to say you are no longer in my doghouse coming into next week. Nothing more.
So we crowning the champ?
Yeah. We finished up our Jeff's question. I did realize coming into today that I said early on if you got it right on, you'd get 2 points. So technically Proto did still have a shot, but I didn't prepare a question. So
it's not regular. I won regular season, though.
It's true. But
we should do a playoff next year. Well, because we missed the first week of playoffs.
Yeah, we've already
we'll
missed
do
our chance.
A regular season one, and
double
then
or nothing
only
for the playoffs.
Only playoff questions,
Yeah, that's
though.
fine. That's cool.
For next year.
But, all right. So because of that, the official winner for the 2015-2016 4th and goal, Jeff's question, I guess we're gonna go with.
Yeah,
is Christian
taking
Smith.
Too long. There you go.
The champ is here.
Hey,
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats, buddy.
No, it wasn't 30 seconds. We're fine.
And to be fair, it should have been a clean sweep.
Oh, wow, humble.
Well,
humble,
no, he
humble
won
at his
4.
best.
I know. One was about his team. One was about his team.
One was about Mando 6.
One was about a football video game.
Which, well, it
and the
wasn't
other
even...
two were just random numbers this guy threw out. He had absolutely no knowledge about the question.
that 2006 one, impressive, because I went back into my childhood and I was like,
I know you were
pro mode.
You were a bigger nerd than me as a child.
Yeah, I was like, be a pro mode.
No, it was a good season. You had me worried a couple weeks there that you were going to come back.
There was some where we were close, and then there was some where I said that Eli Manning was 120 in his career.
Or, no, the worst one you had, I think, were the penalty question. I think that was one of the worst answers you ever gave, where you were trying to calculate how many penalties
wasn't he like way over?
He was like
way over,
5,000 over.
Oh, yeah, it was some ridiculous.
I think that was he answered first that week too, and I just kind of looked at him like,
I know,
because I had Sid before, and I was like, I thought you guys were gonna go under, but man.
And the second I said it, you both looked at me, and right away I went, if Christian just goes like one under me, he's gonna completely.
And I didn't do that. I tried for the number because yours was just so bad.
I know, it
didn't really matter. He was gonna be closer regardless.
That's what I mean. I was like, the second I said it, looked at you guys, in my head I just went, he's got this one.
And I'm pretty sure you didn't pull out a calculator.
No, I pulled out my phone and I was like, if you times this by this, and then I times it by like something else, and then I was like, yeah, that looks reasonable. It was that one and the Eli Manning question where I was like, yeah, Eli Manning's played 120 games, and then earlier in the same podcast, I was like, congrats to Eli Manning for winning his 101st game. And then
Eli Manning. Today I learned Eli Manning has a career winning percentage of 83%.
Yeah, because I was like, wow, that means Eli Manning's 101 and 20. I was like, yep, makes sense.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
Well, it's been a fun enough segment, so we're sad to put it to rest for the year, but we'll be back with it more next year. Maybe we'll introduce something else when we do our Just Sports podcast, which is in the books. We're not sure how it's going to work or what we're going to do yet. We'll let you guys know as we know more.
Yeah, after the NFL season.
Yeah, so Pierre, don't worry. We'll be here after football
we'll be here.
season.
We'll be here. You'll get to hear us making fun of Proto all you want.
Woo!
just add a segment called "Why is Proto fired this week?"
I don't show up for the first 5 minutes of the podcast, and I just stumble in.
Drunk, wearing a mustache and glasses.
A wig and a Browns hat.
I'm Geoff. I'm not Proto.
All right, so guys, until next week, when it comes to the Fourth and Goal podcast, always go for it.
Thank you for listening to Break the Cast.